Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For today's podcast episode and YouTube episode, we're actually doing our spoiler review for Wonder Woman 1984. This movie is actually directed by Patty Jenkins, and I have my good friends with me, Ladasha and Tomeka. Say hello to everybody.
Hey.
And I just want to go on ahead and say this. Whenever I saw the previews, I was actually sold on the film. I loved the trailers whenever it came out. And now, lo and behold, HBO Max released it over the Christmas holiday. And I have to be honest with you, this movie, I was actually underwhelmed once I saw the movie. I did like the opening scene. I did like that. I did like whenever we see her in the Olympics type of Greek mythology and stuff like that when it first opens up. Yeah. I did love that part, that aspect of it. And I thought that might be a good introduction into when we might actually see Cheetah. And instead, it was like totally different than what I expected, because I was thinking, okay, maybe Cheetah shows up from her past and then she doesn't remember how old she is or anything whenever she pops into her life. So maybe there's some years down the road where she forgets about who Cheetah is, and then they just happen to meet at the mall and they become friends. But that's not the case here. Instead, they do a whole different thing, which I'm okay with. I'm glad my theories didn't work out in my favor or anything like that. I'm not let down by that. But was there anything that made you speculate or theorize that maybe she might show up earlier in the film or anything like that?
What do you think?
I just knew about Cheetah from Justice League. So to be honest, I didn't really know anything about the background of how she got her powers or anything. So I came at it totally new. So the way they introduced her was fine with me. I think I told you, Mika, she was doing her Michelle Pfeiffer impression at the beginning where she was klutzy and nobody liked her, and from Batman.
To me, that was right. To me, that was actually the Richard Donner thing. From the old school Superman.
Yeah.
If you ever really remember, Clark Kent did the same exact thing. So I thought it was like a cool throwback to Richard Donner, but does it actually fit in with the 2020 world, especially now when we have good storytelling as opposed to what we got before in the 1980s, the 70s, and stuff like that when it goes to storytelling with comic book-based movies. And I just want to go on ahead and say this. In the trailers and everything with the whole entire deal where Wonder Woman takes down these criminals in the jewelry store, I was all for it and everything. I was eating my popcorn and everything else in the trailer. But whenever I saw it being portrayed on the screen in its entirety, it threw me off. Because I'm like, there's just something about that scene. It's about the cheesiness of that scene being taken place in the 1980s. And I'm like, okay, I thought we moved past from this direction and we went into the 2020 kind of style of doing things, but I understand maybe that's what they were going for, where we actually have that little bit of cheesiness like we got from the Michael Keaton Batmans and things like that. So I actually understand maybe that's what they were trying to go for. What do you think?
It felt like they were trying to make it 80s, but you could tell it was 2020 trying to make it into the 80s. Like when you see Stranger Things, that feels 80s because I grew up in the 80s. So I'm like, Stranger Things feels like the way it felt in the 80s. This felt like it was just being cheesy. I mean, from all the hair and the spray and the, and all the mall. I mean, it just all the Walden books. I mean, it just looked like they were just trying to make it 80s. You know.
It kind of felt a little bit like the 80s to me. With the mall scene, but I guess I see what you mean. It feels more like a setup.
You could tell it was a setup for something. While Stranger Things, it feels like that's where they live. Like, this is every day.
Like they lived the 80s, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder they were trying to make it like the TV show.
I think they were. Yeah, because it kind of reminded me of that the initial scenes of the last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
When they were at the mall. Yeah, it really felt like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I can definitely tell I know what you mean exactly because of the fact that these kids actually do feel like they're living in the 1980s and everything and stuff like that. You know, because they actually feel like the 80s. They know the 80s. With this, it felt like it was just a set piece to get us through the next scene rather than painting the picture of what the 80s is actually looking like. Yeah, we got a little bit of the hairdresser scene. Yeah, we got the Walden books, the J.C. Penney's and things like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't give us that 80s flavor that I was expecting.
No.
And then also too, when even the stunt work and stuff like that didn't really feel like something that I was actually caring for, because that was actually something that I was actually wanting to see more of, was the stunt work within that scene. Because even in the trailers, I was like, okay, this is actually a pretty cool setup. We actually get to see Wonder Woman fight crime, use her lasso of truth. We actually get to see her do things, and it just looked like she was just skating on ice, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
like
it was very easy for her. And,
right.
you know, and I know that it's going to be easy, but it just felt just too easy for her. You know,
Right.
But one of my favorite parts of the movie was the lasso. The special effects they did with her lasso were on point.
Well, did the original film, the question of both of you, did the first Wonder Woman film feel like the 1920s?
Yeah, it felt more like World War II.
It felt like 2019 being World War II.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Charlie Widman actually had something that he wanted to add real quick. He goes, I agree with you, and being underwhelmed with Wonder Woman 84, the trailer got me hyped for this movie. I like this one a little bit more than the first one, but was expecting more.
Yeah.
I could actually see that. But back to your question, Tomeka, though. You know, I actually did feel like in the 2016 Wonder Woman movie, I did feel like that it was actually the 1920s. I actually felt like I was away from 2020 as far as away as I could get. Well, 2016 as far as away as I could get. And I actually felt like I was glued into this because that was actually the world that Steve Trevor actually knows, and he's actually introducing Wonder Woman into this world, into the way that we actually consider normal at that time for the 1920s. And that's what I was actually glued into. The history actually matched up to what it needed to match up to, and it actually glued me into that world and everything. With this, it didn't really feel like the 80s too much in that whole opening scene. Now, as this movie played on, it felt a little bit more like the 80s in a sense, but not enough to where I'm like, wow, they went out of their way to show us the 80s. Because I was expecting a lot more 80s music than what I got, especially whenever Wonder Woman is more of a, you know, a happier character than what Batman is and stuff like that. So I was thinking that they were going to show some more 80s music, 80s flavor to it, but it didn't deliver for that part.
Too kind of depressed half the movie.
Yeah, no, it was like she was depressed. I thought
boyfriend.
Yeah, because I thought she would be playing like Depeche Mode, getting dressed, or you know, being in the car playing, you know, Rick Astley's son. I don't know. Whatever.
Right. But another thing that I want to talk about is this. The whole entire thing in her apartment. I love the apartment scene where it shows throughout the years of all the places she traveled. Trying to live her life one day at a time without Steve. And, you know, I like that whole entire nod. It's like, hey, I'm trying to move on. But at the same time, Steve was actually my first love interest. So I'm trying to move on from that. But it's actually hard because this person was in my life for such a short time, but I loved him more than anything. And then it cuts into the whole entire deal, which I loved when they went into the whole entire archaeology aspect of the film. Because I'm a huge history nerd myself. So them doing the archaeology scene was fantastic. I love that whole entire setup. I thought that Barbara was perfectly well introduced. I could actually believe her character. Nobody wanted to be around her. She was super awkward. She has that whole entire, like I mentioned before, the Richard Donner days of Superman. She actually had that flavor going with her, which actually works for that character. But
so just like Michelle Pfeiffer, you know how she was an awkward secretary. Nobody wanted to be around her.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Energy was all putting.
Yeah.
And also it just seemed like up under her energy is a bit of malice. You could tell she did not, she was angry that people treated her that way.
No, she was angry. She was seen as invisible.
Yeah, she was angry about that. Yeah.
It's deep.
Right.
Yeah.
Deep.
And what did you guys think about the whole wishing part of the film? Like where they actually have to wish on the stone.
I don't know. I thought the wishing stuff was stupid. I felt like they should have wrote it a bit better than just the wish, because then the guy became the wish. And I was just like, okay, so you're trying to say it's bad to wish for things?
Well, it's one of the simple ways to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was be careful with, but it was, I don't know. It just seemed like, I don't know. It didn't, that part didn't blow me away, but understood where they were coming from.
I kind of got the wishing thing. It's kind of like that mode of the 80s where you have those infomercials and the guys are around with like 50 women in a limousine. And it's like, you can be like me too. I'm rich. Like what's that lifestyles of the rich.
Oh, like lifestyle of the rich and famous.
Yeah, it had
like Robin Leach.
Yeah, it had that Robin Leach tone to it. So it would be perfect for somebody to possess the Dreamstone in that sense. Right. My problem with that is I don't know how he knew about the Dreamstone. It didn't explain it. They just had pictures saying that he searched for it. And I'm like, well, how did he
know what it was?
Yeah.
Well, another thing was this. How did he know what it was? Second of all, how did he know it was in that whole entire holding area in the back of the jewelry store was another thing. They didn't go into explain that detail. They didn't explain the background of the stone at all until like later on, whenever you go into the whole Mayan thing. Yeah. But still, there's one thing that I have to say I'm glad that they didn't do. I'm glad that they didn't go based off of there's another god out there that's actually after her. I'm glad that they actually showed. Yeah. I'm glad they actually thought outside their box a little bit with Maxwell, because I felt like Maxwell was actually a good villain. Yeah. The way he was actually introduced, because we are our own worst enemies when it comes down to certain things. And that's exactly what Maxwell was. And, I thought that Maxwell was going to be one of those types of people where he's not going to, it totally blew me away whenever he just becomes a stone, because I was thinking one way. And then they go a total different way with it. For example, I was thinking that he was just going to keep on wishing for shit. I was just thinking that he was going to keep going with it. And then all of a sudden, they do a whole entire switcheroo, like a Wishmaster kind of thing from Wes Craven. And he becomes the stone. I'm like, okay, I was not expecting that. So that kind of blew me away.
I liked it though. I like when he became the wishing stone.
That's kind of genius.
Yeah, and then how he had to keep fulfilling people's wishes so he can keep his health. That was funny.
Let's see. Probably said
they brought Steve back. Oh my god,
that part was awkward.
That was
because I was thinking like, so how does she know this guy? Like, did she encounter him at work and then? Because in my head, I was telling you, if I wrote it,
where did he come from? I'm still on. Where did this dude come from?
If I wrote it, he would just been like a guy that asked Diana out, and then she was like, no, because she can't move on from Steve. This is how I would write it if I was writing a script.
Yeah,
and then you would introduce Steve into him, and it'll be a combination of this could be my potential future, and then this my past in one body. Like that's how I would write it.
I just wanted a bridge to understand who this dude was, and how he was getting close enough to Diana to even talk to her. Because I'm like, was he a guy who worked with her? Was he a guy just at the party? Hanging out with her? It was like all of a sudden this dude, she turned around and she was like, don't stop following me. And I'm like, who is he? I didn't even know he was following you,
But she had other guys at work too that would try to get her attention.
Well, Well, what I was thinking was this, right? She's seeing Steve everywhere she goes. So I'm guessing the stone is like, well, I'm going to find you the closest thing that you can find of Steve that I can find that looks like him. And that's what I think it did. But at the same time, and this is just me theorizing whenever I saw the trailer, I thought maybe Zeus gave her a bargain ship where it's like, okay, you defeated Ares for me. So therefore, in return, I'm going to return Steve to you since he was your first love. But there's going to be consequences behind me giving you Steve. It's not going to be the Steve that you remember. It's going to be an altercation of what Steve is. Or something to that effect, to where she has to make him remember who he is and fell in love. So I thought that might be the key thing. But I was totally wrong on that direction though too. So I like the misdirection here.
Yeah.
It's good misdirection, but they need to just explain it a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah. Explain how this guy, first of all, I didn't even understand how he even got in this guy's body.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I don't think he said it. He was like, it went dark and then he was sleeping, then he woke up. And I'm just like, why this guy? I mean,
what's so special?
It could have been a bum on the street. I mean, how he got there.
Well, what I was thinking was, you know how in the 90s, when someone dies and they put somebody else in somebody's body that doesn't match with their body? That's what I was thinking that they're doing here. Is just total, we just have to go in with disbelief on that part where it's like, okay, this is the person that the stone actually chose, and we just have to play along with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does raise the question, why this guy? Why him? He's just an average Joe on the street. But I do like the fact that, they do explain that all he saw was darkness, and all of a sudden he woke up, which means that he knows that he died. And next thing you know, he's in this guy's body. But I like how Diane has to be like the one who's supposed to be helping him, teaching him stuff. Because he's like the fish out of water now, just like how she was. And now he's like, what's this? What's that? And
that was funny. Now that part was funny, especially when he got to the trash can.
Right. He goes, what's that? Oh, that's just a trash can. And then the fanny pack, them trying on the different outfits.
Yeah,
I know. And I think my problem was, and I know we're gonna go back to Lucifer, John, but you remember when Lucifer's mother came from wherever, and she was a spirit, and she was bouncing from person to person trying to find a host. And she found one guy, he was too fat, and then she tried to get another person, that wasn't working. Then she finally found her body in this woman who had gotten killed. And that's how she ended up inhabiting it. So that made sense. But this transition didn't make any sense. It was like, why is he in her? And I thought maybe the wishing stone. What I thought was when she picked up the wishing stone at work, maybe she wished Steve was back.
But
and that brought him back.
It explained it though. I never saw her say that I wish Steve would come back. And I wish that they would have done it where she was falling asleep, and then she just said, I wish Steve would come back.
You see, this is what
I say it.
Yeah.
Right. But I understand what you're going for, but I actually knew just the way she was gazing at that stone and the way she was talking about how she missed Steve and everything. We don't say our wishes out loud sometimes either. So, so with her, it was basically just her wishing on her own without anybody else knowing what she wished for. And you can tell in her eyes what she's wishing for. You can tell. That's how good of an actress that Gal Gadot actually is when it comes down to that. Because now I feel like she's very well grounded as Wonder Woman. And before, I like the little smirk she had in Batman versus Superman and stuff like that when she gets knocked down to the ground and she has that pizzazz. But now you can tell she's glued into this character, and plus she gave us an emotional level to the character that we didn't get in the first film. It was pulling on my heartstrings in this movie though with her. So
definitely when she had to leave Steve.
Yeah, that
was nice. Yeah.
Let's see. Charlie says Steve coming back in terms of wishing him back. I truly believe that he never died in the first place. Sci-fi deaths are not really dead. Well.
No, they don't. Not really.
True.
But yeah, I thought they really shouldn't have killed Steve anyway in the first one. He was just too good, or either I just love Chris Pine. I'm a Chris Pine lover. So.
To be honest with you, Chris Pine's an underrated actor if you actually think about it.
He is good. He's very good. And of course he's the best at
Star Trek.
Well, yeah, I love Star Trek.
Yeah,
I love him in Star Trek. But the one that he had the Academy Award nomination for. Okay. The one where he was a bank robber with his brother.
Oh, okay. I know the movie you're talking about because I love that movie.
Hell or High Water. Yeah,
that was a great movie.
Oh, that was awesome. That was
really
awesome.
Good. I wonder why he underrated though.
Because he Captain Kirk and people got issues with that.
The Trekkies.
No, not the Trekkies. I'm talking about
No, it has nothing to do with the Trekkies. It's just that I don't think certain directors know where to put him at. Yeah. So it's hard to actually cast him in something. Mm-hmm. So whenever he was cast on Hell or High Water, I'm like, yes, Chris Pine was awesome in that movie. Yeah. But I liked the whole entire thing with Steve Trevor. I understood why he would sacrifice himself because of the fact he's sacrificing himself for the good of America and stuff like that and being the hero that he is. So that's actually reasonable. With him coming back and everything, like I said, I like certain aspects of with him coming back, but they didn't, like you said, it would have actually been better, Ladasha, like you said, if they went on and said, well, I went to this body, that body, and this body, and this body. But it was just like, okay, I found this average Joe looking guy. I'm laying down on a pot and just chilling, eating my SpaghettiOs, and I just happen to wake up.
And you're like, all right. Yeah. But once they got back together, I felt like the old magic just came.
Right.
Where he's helping, he's in the background helping, like he got a blind side. Because he actually tried to go up against Cheetah. I'm like, go with your best. Right. That ain't gonna work, but okay.
No. Yeah. I like he's never in the way, her way.
No, he's never in the way.
Like knows who she is and he's secure enough to just be in the background.
Right. Another thing I want to
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about Rebecca a little bit. But I like the chemistry between her and Gal, just her and just getting to know each other. Yeah. And everything, And I really do feel like, I really do. I feel like Kristen Wiig did a good job of playing Cheetah and Rebecca. She nailed it.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I don't think I've seen a Saturday Night Live cast member that recent do such a good job like this.
But Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. She's on Saturday Night Live. My sister stopped watching Saturday Night Live when Will Ferrell left.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so anything after Will Ferrell, she's like, who are these people? Will Ferrell.
I watch a little bit here and there, but not that much like I used to with SNL.
Yeah, I don't watch it like that.
I watch it here and there, but I saw some when she was on. She was like the annoying Target lady.
Yeah. Which was awesome.
Yeah. So I remember that part.
That's all she played. Oh, in Target.
She played some more characters, but she had a few standouts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But she was good in here. I was really impressed.
Really surprised. Her and Pedro.
Oh yeah. Ever since Game of Thrones, he's just my dude, man.
Those were the two breakout stars for me. Yeah.
Right. And let's talk about Pedro Pascal's character, though, Maxwell. Mm-hmm. At first, you're thinking this guy's a big, huge, high-dollar millionaire, billionaire that's going to try and do something with this museum. And then you see this big, huge building, which looks nice on the outside. Yeah. But once you get into the inside, you realize, okay, this guy is in debt. This guy is he's a bullshit artist.
Yeah.
And everything. And he's just throwing balloons in the air, hoping that somebody would catch it and invest in his company. Because let's just face it, him doing those commercials and everything is probably taking a big chunk of his change, plus his partner's change, to make those commercials.
Yes.
Yeah, just like the 80s.
Yeah.
Because the guy even told him he want his money back because this is a Ponzi scheme.
Right.
So,
and I like how
they had a lot of Ponzi schemes back in the 80s too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So it was a lot of people like him running around.
Definitely, especially when you look at the oil industry during that time, though, too. Which is something I really liked about this. They did match up the timeline really well with that, with the oil industry, how it was the future of everything, and you see these other guys buying up oil in their countries, and Maxwell is just drilling everywhere in the United States, not knowing that there is no oil in the United States.
Which is interesting because, like with Dallas, they talk about Texas having all the oil.
Right.
Yeah, but we kind of noticed on his map of drills, Texas. He wasn't in Texas. He was drilling.
Didn't hit the target right.
I know he didn't hit the right. He wasn't in the right strike zone.
Think about Texas.
I mean, he was drilling in Georgia, so
no, not Georgia.
Georgia, like no wonder you ain't found no oil.
No, it ain't no oil here.
Nah, ain't no oil here.
Public service announcement is no oil.
If he could have drilled and found Publix, that was what we got it for.
Like, what do you guys think
It's in Lakeland, you know.
Yeah.
My question for y'all though is, what did you think of the whole entire thing with Maxwell's son and him? Because he's like, I'm doing all this for you, son. I'm doing all this for you, but even his own son is like, you're a liar, daddy. You know?
Oh yeah, I felt so bad.
Babe, but
yeah, I felt so bad for him because I really clearly that was his weak spot was his son, and he really felt like I'm doing all this for him, and I thought that was believable, but he just was such a loser about it. He couldn't turn it, you know.
Yeah, and even with his son, he was like, I don't want you growing up knowing that your dad is a loser.
Yeah.
Because he's wrong about me. I'm not a loser.
Yeah. That was sad.
Yeah.
That was real sad.
Because our perspective to I don't have kids or anything like that, but to adults, we want the best for the kid, for the kids and everything too. And we care about how they look and perceive us and everything too. So just because we have those anxieties does not mean that the kid doesn't feel that way towards us or anything like that either, because he's like, I don't look at you like that, daddy. I loved you from the moment that I was born.
Like,
that crushed my soul. I mean,
oh my goodness, yeah. And he was such a cute little kid. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, you can tell the trouble though in the marriage, like, oh, it's my weekend to have him. Yeah. Some clues about he's a divorced man that's trying to not be a loser. Basically, the whole family trying to prove to people that he wasn't a loser.
Right, but then it started off like that, right? And then all of a sudden, it's just like, I want to take over everything. It went from I want to prove people wrong to I just want to take over everything. And that's also how the Cold War supposedly started in this world.
Yeah,
but
that was the other thing I didn't get. Like the oil guy. What country was he in? Was he in?
Oh, you talking about that
Arabia or something like that?
Yeah, that part of the movie where the guy wished for his ancestral home or something. I didn't. That whole part I didn't understand.
Okay, I understood that a little bit because I think that has a lot to do with Israel and stuff like that. How the land is actually divided. Yeah, between the two ancestors and stuff. So I want to say that was Israel that was actually divided. So he wanted unity with the country and everything, to where there's no walls or anything like that. So, and not only that, but the way it was divided, and this is going through biblical times and everything else too, but there was a war between the families because God promised them this one piece of land, and there was a division between the families. Everything, and that's what caused the friction. So what he was wishing for was for the friction to be over with, to where he wouldn't have to worry about it anymore, where they can be united. But Maxwell, on the other hand, decided to do a whole different loophole, where he's like, okay, you have that, but instead, this is what's going to happen to you now. All your people are right. So that's what caused the war with him and everything, because the wall is being destroyed.
Oh, okay. The wall
Yeah, the wall is being destroyed. Therefore, now the friction that he had with with his enemies, which is the families and everything, now you have that friction. You have people coming in, fighting, and therefore he has no one to defend him.
Oh, okay.
So I actually understood that.
Okay.
I don't mean to get biblical or anything, but that's what
I really couldn't figure out. Like, first he even wished for, and then when he took his security guards, and he said something, I that whole thing I didn't understand.
Yeah, that's what I got from that, but I could be wrong. But that's what I was picturing in my head on what was going on at that time. So let's see here. Another thing too that I want to mention is the fact that with the invisible jet thing too.
Oh yes, I was waiting on that. I was like, oh my gosh, she got to turn this into the invisible jet. I'm waiting.
Okay, so there's a few little small issues I have with this scene, but I also want to say this too. There is 3, just in case anybody wanted to know about this, there is 3 transitions to Cheetah. There is the Barbara when we first get introduced to Barbara. Then it's the Wish when she actually goes ahead and gets the wish that she wants, where she has more confidence, where she wants to be more like Diana. She gets the powers like Diana has, which is also the reason why Diana is actually showing weakness, because her powers is being drained from that wish. Then the third phase is actually when she says she wants to be the apex predator. So that's the 3 transformations. Now, what I was thinking was we were going to see maybe 1 transformation of this whole entire thing where we actually see her in her human form. Well, 2 transformations. One, we get to see her in her human form. And then the other one, we get to see her in her cheetah form. And that's it. But they went through 3 different steps to give us Cheetah. And I feel like Cheetah was more of the background character than anything. I feel like that she was poorly misused in this movie. I would have been perfectly fine with just Maxwell and everything that they were going after, rather than Cheetah. That's just my personal opinion. That's just what I'm thinking about. What do you guys think?
Cheetah was kind of in the background. I mean, she kind of started in the foreground, and then they incorporated. It seemed like Pedro Pascal, when he shows up, he seems like a scene stealer anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it wasn't Gal Gadot dealing with him, everybody else kind of falls into the background. And so yeah, she really did kind of fade in there. And you kind of got a taste of it, the fight, I guess, in the White House, of how strong she was and how weak Wonder Woman was getting. But and then the fight at the end, it was kind of dark. I couldn't hardly see it good.
We're gonna get to that in a minute because I do want to bring that up.
That's the part where
you and I are both on agreement with that, but I want to hold that. I want to hold that thought for a minute and everything, because I do have something that I actually want to add to that scene that you're talking about. But another thing though too is that I like the desert scene when they're actually on the run and everything too. That was actually really good. I felt a sense of danger for Steve as well, because I'm like, oh God, is something going to happen to Steve? Because never once did I actually feel like that he was just a cartoon character that was just there and he was totally safe. I actually felt like he was actually in danger in most of those scenes that we actually see him in. So, and then I was also fearful for Diana as well.
Yeah, he was, but he was a military guy, so you could tell he was used to war.
Well, not in that.
He just jumped. No, not that kind.
Not in that one scene where he's trying to kick the machine gun. I was like, what
is he doing?
No, I know.
In my car, so I'm gonna kick the machine gun.
Yeah, but that was because he basically 80 years old by that point. Right. In his mind, he's like 80.
Hills 80.
Yeah, he's like Captain America. He's really old in his mind, so this stuff he ain't never seen. But once he figured out, like, okay, these are the modern weapons. It's like his war training kicked in. He was like, okay,
like an 8-year-old veteran.
Yeah, like let me roll this tank. Let me use this gun. Let me fly this jet. Even though that was a bit of I can't believe that part that he knew how to fly a fighter jet.
Okay, we're gonna get to that now. Okay.
Propeller planes in the World War II. I'm like, oh man,
I didn't know
how to fly.
I didn't know where they were.
I know this might seem repetitive. If anybody's actually watched any type of spoiler reviews on YouTube or anything like that, I know this might sound repetitive, but I just need to go on ahead and say this on the record too, because as I'm watching this film, as I'm watching her turn this jet invisible, I'm like, okay, sold on that part. Because then she also goes into the explanation of, I tried turning my coffee cup invisible and I could not find it. So she went into some type of training with that. So I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Steve, who was used to regular, ordinary World War I or II aircraft, can now all of a sudden fly this carrier out of there. And there just so happens to be a full tank of gas in this aircraft carrier. So I'm like, at first I thought they were going to fly in the plane that they knew how to fly in.
Yeah, that's where. Oh, yeah.
Was that a flight museum? I didn't know where they were. I was like, where are they? And then
at first I thought Diana owned that for a minute. Yeah, I thought Diana owned.
I didn't think they had set that one up right, because I was like, where's she going? And I thought, what is going on? And I was like, oh, this is some type of military thing.
Right. Because here's the thing. I thought Diana owned that. I'm like, okay, how much money are you actually making, Diana? All of a sudden,
I thought that was either her private collection or she went back to the Smithsonian and grabbed one of them old planes used to.
Yeah.
I thought that's what he was doing. I'm like, wait a minute, that man don't know how to fly a jet, and then he grabbing the controls. I'm like, come on now.
Right. That's I'm like, okay. At that point, I'm like, okay, let's see.
I guess
we have Susie Matthews from Australia. Hey, Susie, glad that
How you doing? Is it summer in Australia?
Is it summer?
No. Wait, they opposite us, right?
Yeah, they're opposite.
Hugh Jackman said.
Say hey to Jackman. Hey, Hugh Jackman.
And Chris Hemsworth. All the Hemsworth.
Jackman.
Papa Hemsworth.
Hey,
Australia. Love you.
But you guys are breaking me tonight. I swear. Okay, so another thing that I thought that was visually stunning was the fireworks with them flying underneath the fireworks display and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. That was dope. That was good.
I want that ride so bad. I don't know which world does that. Is that gonna be Disney World or Universal World?
Probably Universal, right?
I don't know, but I want that ride right now.
It'll be, if Six Flags was still around, it would probably be Six Flags, because WB is part of Six Flags.
Yeah, Six Flags still in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it's in Georgia.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well, we don't have Six Flags over here anymore. It got destroyed by Katrina.
No problem.
Yeah, destroyed by what?
By Katrina.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. But anyways, so back on topic.
Them bad words you mentioned, Katrina, Andrew. We're like,
but yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk about this now. So,
corral the girls.
We also have another scene too where Diana re-announces her wish from Steve, because she sees the destruction around her and everything too, which I thought that was really good. I like the fact that she's actually thinking about things and she's putting aside things and everything. Is like, look, I need to go ahead and re-announce my wish. Another thing though too, I liked how they actually got the Mayan, the guy he has a Mayan background and everything.
That was weird. He just some guy, some guru that Barbara found in a newspaper, and he in the record shop, and he just happened to have his ancestral book He's like, I got this book. Hold on, let me move the Cheeto bags out the way. I got this book.
Like, what? By that point, I was hungry for an explanation. Like, somebody please explain to me what in the world is going on. And if he had to put his Cheetos out the way to read some book, I'm like, thank goodness. Somebody done told me what the heck going on.
It was like 80s and 90s cheesiness in one movie.
Yeah. But he was cool. I was glad he finally showed up.
No.
But
sorry.
Yeah, I was game. Like, thank God, because
I wasn't. I wanted better, but it's fine. We can move on. It's only an hour and a half.
Okay, so now we're breaking away from the Cheeto guy. Now we're going on ahead, and we're going to talk about the whole entire sequence with Maxwell and everything with the whole entire fight scene. But what did you think about the whole entire armor, though? The armor that Diana used.
Oh, the gold armor.
Yeah,
I like it.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah, she was like a.
That was sweet.
She was like
that was fire. That was really good.
I would definitely wear that.
Yeah, I sent you that.
I would wear that to work.
I sent you the toy from Tom McFarlane. Mm-hmm. They got it in Target for $15. The replica.
Really?
Check your messages.
No, but I'm just shocked at the fact. I saw by the way, I saw your message. I saw your DM. But to be honest with you, I was expecting that thing to be at least $35-$40 the way it looked. Not $15.
Oh, yeah, well, it's kind of small.
It's real
detailed.
Yeah, and then they have one on sale where it's not the armor, but it's at GameStop for $30.
Yeah.
You see, I bought the Punisher statue for like $60, and that was the John Bernthal one. So I just had to get that whenever I saw it. But anyways,
and I could see the cosplay that's getting ready to happen.
I can't wait to see that.
I'm gonna have the cosplays.
I was looking at that online, like how much would that cost? And it's like about $2,000 for somebody to make it for you. And then the one at Party City looked like some golden leotard with Dollar Tree wings on it.
Yeah, then she showed me one
from Wish.
It looked like my underoos when I was 6.
Yeah, she had Wonder Woman underoos. That's how long of a fan.
And it was like, and what you showed me was what, 200, 300?
Yeah.
And it looked like my underoos when I was 6. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Who want that?
No.
You look stupid.
See, for me, with the scene though, with the costume and everything, it's like, okay, I forgot my wings at home. Let me go back and get them.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. By the way, I got this golden suit over here in this dusty bag. I'm like, girl, what? That'll be out there in my. I have that hanging up my living room. She's like, yeah, it's just over there.
Yeah, and he's like, what is it?
He's like, what?
And she's like, oh, let me put this lasso on you. That's what it is. Okay, I got stuff to do.
Well, another thing though too is I didn't understand how her ability to fly. I didn't understand that part. I didn't understand. Unless you actually count Steve going, well, when you look up, it's easy to fly. If you just look at, they're just clouds and air. Even that, I'm like, that don't work for me. I need more of an explanation than there's just air and sky and clouds. No, I just need more than that.
I thought I read somewhere they were saying that, it was her emotions that just propelled her.
Yeah, that's fly. What I thought. I thought she was just so angry and so full. And she was just so tired of having to sacrifice, but she got to do it. And she got so much power that, she just kind of propelled herself up there to fly. And I wasn't sure, in Justice League, was Wonder Woman flying?
I only saw that movie once.
I can't remember, but that's what I thought. It was like she had so much power in her that she just propelled herself to fly.
Well, how did Superman learn to fly then? Did he ever practice in the movies? Like
in the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, he would. Then he would fly in the barns. He couldn't fly straight.
So he just kind of flew, just ran and just said, oh.
Yeah, it's the same way. He was running, and then he jumped over a train and realized he can do that pretty easy.
Oh, so maybe they tried that explanation.
Well, even in Man of Steel, though, Man of Steel, he was having a hard time flying.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, Clark was only Superman for a couple of hours when all the shit went down.
Yeah.
So that's another key factor.
Maybe they should have had her run and then kind of like lift up a little bit and stumble and then kind of just propel up.
No, I liked it. I like the way they did it.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I agree. I liked it.
I like it. I just need somebody to explain the plot.
Explanation. Right. Yeah. Larry Lee's from Cinema Gold. He said Wonder Woman 84 was great. Roxy 007. I like Wonder Woman 84.
Agree, Roxy. Thank you, Roxy.
Thank you, Roxy.
We liked it. Overall, I mean, we liked it. But I just think her emotions, like when you're so angry and full and pissed off, and it's the equivalent of when you're real angry. Some people can just start running, even though they're out of shape. It was like they got to get that off of them. Right. They got that emotion. They just start running, and that's her version of running. She was so full. She ran so hard and ran so fast. She just started flying. And then once she realized, like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm up here. Then she was like, yeah, okay, let me keep going.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the lasso thing though too, up in the sky. You and I are both on the. Hey, you need to stay on my head, but you and I are on the same thought process. But the part with the lasso though, when she's wrapping the thunderbolt and everything. Now, this goes into my speculation piece that I did on my podcast earlier, but for the audio only. I was thinking Zeus is playing a hand in that for her taking down Ares once again and giving her the power to actually glide across with the thunderbolts and everything. And stuff with the lightning bolts. Right. So that's what I was thinking. But once again, misdirection. So, I'm happy that none of my stuff, I'm glad that none of my predictions actually happened.
Yeah. I don't know. They may expound on Zeus and all of that. They may do that with this woman, Wonder Woman
3.
Yeah, right. Wonder Woman 3.
So they got to introduce the gods again then.
Right. We're going to get into that part towards the end, though, as far as speculations and stuff like that. But let's go on and talk about the big climax of it now. This is where it's actually going to be wrapping up with the stuff in the dark with Cheetah and everything else. So, like we mentioned before, Ladasiah, we both didn't really care for the scene with Cheetah and stuff like that as far as the fight goes, right?
Yeah.
So explain what you didn't like about the fight scene.
It was dark. I really had a hard time seeing what the action was. And it was hard to see what they were doing. It was just dark. And I wish they had to fight in the daytime so I could really see what people were doing. Because, you hate to compare it to a Marvel movie, but it's like when they have a big bad fight in Marvel, you notice it's in the daytime. People can see what's going on, but it's black dark night, and I'm like, maybe if I had been in a movie theater and saw it,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would have saw more details.
I was thinking maybe because we saw it on my iPad, and I was thinking maybe my lighting is dark.
Maybe. It's dark.
I saw it on my 40. To be honest with you, I had it on my 48-inch TV.
Yeah,
and everything, and that's high def as anything. And the shots were very dark. Usually when CGI is horrible, Hollywood likes to do this. They like to go on ahead and put dark lighting around CGI that's actually horrible to make us not notice that CGI is shitty. And that's exactly what I think that happened. They went on ahead, they tried to dress it up, put a little bow on it, and for us to try not notice that the CGI is bad. But it's clearly, when they're actually fighting, the CGI is actually bad for that scene.
It really
and then I liked how Diana is always one of those characters that says, I don't want to do this, but you're making me do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And the repercussions of Cheetah going after her underneath the water and then shocking her.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. You can tell Diana didn't want to do that. You could tell that
Yeah, no, she didn't want to. Yeah, she didn't want to do that because she had a soft spot for Barbara because she didn't see she saw Barbara.
Yeah.
Let's see, Roxy, 007. I saw the reason why it was dark because of Cheetah's makeup.
Oh boy, yeah, Roxy. When they show her looking crazy like that, I'm like, this look like Cirque du Soleil gone wrong. I mean, wait, I was like, oh yeah, cat.
The play.
I was like, daggone.
Larry said there's an article published explaining how she flew.
Oh, cool.
Does he know the name of the article?
Larry, do you know the name of the article? If you can, go on ahead, inbox it to me on Twitter, and I'll forward over to Tomeka as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, Charlie Woodman. I think the fight sequences need to improve in a big way. For the third one, her fight sequences in Dawn of Justice League, Dawn of Justice and Justice League, and that woman were a lot better. Yeah. There needs to be more action in the third one. Yeah, Roxy just saying, hey, it's all good, Roxy. Seriously, I'm glad that you actually brought that to our attention.
Yeah.
Charlie goes, I agree the sequences were too dark. More like Cats, the movie.
It was like Cats.
Things right here.
Yeah, Cirque du Soleil. Like, what in the world?
This house all messy.
I'm like, ugh.
I thought it will. Yeah, they did do like the little things like Cats.
I thought she would have like a little cheetah suit, not look like a cat.
Nah, I'm glad that they actually went that route in a sense to where it wasn't like a suit or anything like that. It was just CGI, but I wanted good CGI, not like the half-ass CGI.
Yeah, I want good CGI. And you know, some of that CGI in the whole movie, you can tell it wasn't top of the line. It wasn't Marvel CGI.
Here we go. Marvel. Jeez.
I'm just saying.
That's the issue in a post-Marvel world. Post-Marvel world.
And I'm like, this is quite up
like we talked about before with that whole entire scene in the mall and everything. It felt like it was Wonder Woman on ice. That's basically what
exactly. And I was like, all right, we need to improve this CGI just a little.
Unless it was kind of like, if you've seen because I've been watching the Wonder Woman TV series, which is on HBO Max, everybody.
Yes.
It's kind of cheesy like that.
Shout out to Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, if you watching, hey girl.
Hey girl.
So it's kind of like that with the TV series and Wonder Woman. Everything is so cheesy. And then she's like that, and then they're like, oh, you know, they just kind of fall.
But
so
but you know.
DC.
Oh,
have a problem.
And Roxy, I like both. I'm a DC fan and I'm also a Marvel fanboy, so you know I fit right up in there.
DC CGI, they need to step their game up.
I mean, they making a comeback slowly.
They are. It's just that Wonder Woman, between Wonder Woman and Aquaman, they're both carrying the franchise on their backs.
Yeah, literally, it's just them.
And she still is carrying the
franchise. They done messed up Henry Cavill and Superman. I don't know what they did with. They just screwed that whole thing up. He more than wicked than Superman.
Terrible.
But okay, let's go in ahead and talk about Maxwell.
I got to watch The Witch in the dark. I got to turn the light off.
John, continue. John, continue.
So let's see. Okay, so
you're embarrassing me on TV.
But anyway, that's Wonder Woman.
Okay, so Maxwell and everything. The whole entire delivery of like, well, I need millions of people to touch, so I need to go on ahead and go on TV and everything and get as many witnesses as I can. Not only that, but I also forgot to mention the fact that every single time when someone makes a wish, it weakens him.
Yeah.
Where he actually has to take more vitamins. So my thought process was this: the only way to take him down is, I hate to say it, make more wishes to the point where he actually dies. Because don't forget, the whole entire stone disappears after a certain amount of time because maybe the person dies. because
Mm-hmm.
they only allowed so many wishes and everything. So maybe that person winds up dying. And that's why it only popped up for a certain amount of years. So I was thinking, okay, maybe that's the way that they're actually going to have to take him down. But instead, and everything, Diana, there's only one way for her to get through to him. And I like how they actually do it. I like the fact that, of course, he's over there making people wish for different stuff, off the wall stuff and things like that too. But I like how Diana all of a sudden wraps his feet around the lasso, and he's owning up to his mistakes and telling the truth. And then everybody's like, well, I don't understand how her voice can be projected through and everything, and he can actually hear her. But my thing is, I'm thinking her voice is being projected through the lasso and out through the lasso through him.
Yeah. Yeah. She just needed that connection with the lasso, and then she could just kind of, like not invade him, but she can go and broadcast herself through him.
Because he became a broadcast himself. Because once because she got rid of the camera, and he's like, that's not going to work. So in a sense, he became his own broadcast, like channeling out to everyone.
Right.
But I thought the more that other people wish, that he would wish on top of their wishes. Right? Because he was like, and I will take this from you.
Right.
So that's what I thought strengthened him, was the more people wish, the more he could take from them.
Take their life force.
Life force.
Yeah, he could take their life force the more they wish.
Yeah.
But I think like John said, it was going to be too much. A human can't take on that much. Yeah.
Because we already saw the outcome. Whenever he had all those people he was wishing, his ears were bleeding, his nose was bleeding, his son, even his own son, whenever he makes that wish, he goes, I wish to be more like you. And, I believe that the wish contradicted itself on that part to the point where it actually kind of protected the kid. It's like, well, you cannot be like me because I'm only one. I'm only have one stone. So therefore you cannot take what you don't have.
Yeah.
Because he is the stone. So if they had like maybe 2 stones, maybe he could actually get the wish that way. But considering the fact that his father only has 1 stone inside of him and everything too, I'm thinking that maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dallas, 1, 2, 3. Did you guys already talk about how she uses the lasso? Then when the lasso let go from her hand and she rescued the kids, she had the lasso on her belt when she walked away from landing. Oh yeah. Okay, that was at the whole entire scene that we were talking about with Steve Trevor and her and stuff like that when they were trying to save the kids. Remember this? Playing soccer or whatever, and she had to do it.
Yeah.
To me, that was a callback to the very beginning of the film when she let her guard down and everything. Even though she's showing weakness in this film because of the fact that her power's being taken away, she did look away for a minute. Just like she did in the very beginning of the film. So she her guard was totally down during that time. Yeah, where she got distracted. So I believe that's something that actually happened.
Yeah,
as well. So that was a good callback.
You mean the scene in the mall where she was looking at the little girl?
No, not that part, but the other part where the kids are playing soccer and everything, or kicking the ball.
Oh, yeah, road in the desert. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, and there's also the scene in the mall though that I like though too, where she actually does lasso the kid. And she slides her back into the teddy bear. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah, I thought that was so cute. Yeah, that was cute.
Let's see, but then she let go of the lasso. It shouldn't have been on her anymore. You see, that's something that at that point and everything, there might have been a little bit more power to her and everything. I think that's also why she lost the grip, because her guard was down and because she was actually using her skills and abilities. But once she reannounced her wish with Steve, she had her powers back.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, her powers were starting to slip a bit, and because I think that was when she got shot and she actually saw blood.
Yeah.
Right. So she was getting weak then anyway.
She was becoming mortal.
Yeah. So she probably did lose track of that lasso. she didn't have as much control as she usually has. Yeah. So. But that scene when she flew over the truck in the desert, where she went way up over the truck, and I think she went and grabbed the kids and something. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was the part that I was talking about. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so of course we got part of that part with Maxwell and everything. He ends up re-announcing his wish. And of course, at that time too, we actually have all the missiles going across, probably against Russia, against the United States. All of a sudden,
everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Everybody fighting everybody.
Yeah, that was all nuts. Yeah, that was crazy. But but it's very 80s though, because they were on edge like that.
But it's funny how you did bust up in the White House and he's like, "What is your wish? I'm here for you, Mr. President."
know, and I'm like, how did he get through the gate?
And it's Secret Service is like, "What do we do?"
Yeah, like, what do we do? And I'm like, get rid of him? Like, what?
Right.
How he roll up in the White House like that? And then I'm like, is that Reagan or who is this president?
Yeah, who is that?
I'm like, that's a terrible looking Reagan.
Yeah, it is.
Like, they could have found somebody who looked more like Reagan.
Right. That's what I agree. That person didn't even look like Reagan, to be honest with you.
I didn't like him at all. I'm like, damn, man.
And then they were talking about the Star Wars.
The Star Wars. And they did a horrible job explaining Star Wars. Not like Star Wars was easy to understand, but
the president's plan.
The plan that we call this Star Wars over here.
Yeah, which is
that's just Star Wars stuff. I'm like, man, that Star Wars stuff was real.
Yeah, it actually was real.
Yeah, I'm like,
he actually called his plan Star Wars, where missiles would just bounce off a satellite. Right. Wasn't that about?
Yeah, it basically, I think it was like they would put like a force field or something. It would intercept missiles before they landed.
Yeah,
like satellites to throw out missiles before they
it would do
landed anywhere. Like it was real crazy.
Yeah, you should read your history, kids. That's what Reagan really said.
Science fiction becomes science fact.
That's what Reagan really said.
Read your science, kids.
The best line for science fiction becomes science fact.
And to be honest with you,
who wrote
Ronald Reagan? I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, how about it? What's in them jelly beans? That's what I want.
I know. When I learned about the Contras and all them, I'm like, okay, this is more normal. I'm like, okay, this is just basic corruption. Not that crazy, you out your mind stuff.
Force field.
Yeah.
Space Force.
Well, how was I supposed to know that was the forerunner to Direct TV?
And that's how we got cable. Ta-da. Thanks to Ronald Reagan, we got cable.
Instead of shooting missiles, they shoot down HBO.
Oh,
yeah.
So, they were in the HBO studios. They weren't really in the where the White House and everything making the speeches. But
wow. So we should thank Ronald Reagan, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have cable.
Probably, yeah.
Wow. Or our 5G cell phones, which is now they're trying to work on 6G.
He probably had something to do with that. I'm not a Republican enough, but I got to call it.
Ronald.
Call it like I see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I gotta call it like I see it now.
But you know what I don't get though? They actually got someone perfect to play Nixon for Days of Future Past, but we couldn't get a perfect Ronald Reagan for this movie.
Nixon was the truth. He was good. That's one of my favorite movies, Days of Future Past. Reagan was like naked and stuff. I was like, ooh, anyway, worth my money already.
Look what you did.
Worth my money already.
See what you did
in the beginning.
You did, John. Can we continue on?
But his Nixon was good. But this
so let's go on ahead and talk about. So we got the ending for Maxwell and everything. He winds up uniting with his kid. his kid winds up telling you, "Listen, Daddy, I'm proud of you and everything, and I don't look at you as like a loser or anything like that."
Yeah, that's his dad.
From the moment I was born, I'm like, "Oh my God, this kid is gonna make me terrible."
I know. I'm like, this kid gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! When he said
like,
into his dad, I'm like,
oh. Like 3 or 4 scenes that were tear breakers for me. The Diana having to say goodbye to Steve again.
Yeah, that was hard. Yeah.
The kid, and then also too. Hold on, Anthony's here.
Anthony.
Hey. What is good, everybody?
Anthony.
Hey.
I finally meet you.
I know. This is my first time meeting him too.
This is my first time too.
Oh,
What's up?
Nothing much, man. It's good to actually have you. We're actually putting in a little bit of our final thoughts and everything, so I thought this was
good. Anthony, are you from ATL? Are you from Atlanta? Are you from Atlanta?
No, 70 miles from Atlanta. Georgia, though, yeah.
Well, in Macon.
No, it's a little town. It's up from Macon.
Up from Macon? What that?
Well, wait, it might be down from Macon. I don't know.
It's down from Macon. Up from Macon is Atlanta.
Anyway, Wonder Woman.
Oh,
yes,
sorry. But yeah, we're just doing the final thoughts on it, though, man.
Okay.
So what I figured was, since you got like a few minutes and everything, dude, I do appreciate you coming in at like a few minutes and everything just to chat this movie up with us. So let's go on ahead. So give us your thoughts. We've been talking for a good solid hour and everything. Give us your thoughts on this whole entire thing.
Wonder Woman 84. I've watched it like 3 times. I plan on watching it a few more. I thought it was okay. There are some things there that were kind of didn't sit well with me, just mostly visual effects wise or whatever. But like, the performances, the strongest part of the movie, I thought were all the actors, because they all came in hard. Everyone, Pedro, Gal has like stepped her game up from
totally.
Yes, from when she from the first one. I've always liked her as Wonder Woman, as Diana, but like this, she stepped it up. The scene with her and Steve, like right there at the end when she had to renounce her wish, was fire. So like overall, I liked it. I liked her fight with Cheetah. I thought it could have been a little bit longer.
And lighter, not as dark.
It was at night. I liked the use of the armor. I liked, this is spoilers, right?
This
okay.
So we can spoil the hell out of this thing, man. It don't matter.
I liked them having Linda there. I actually, as soon as they showed her eye when they were showing that little flashback scene. As soon as I saw her eyes, I was like, "Yo, that's Linda Carter, right?" So.
Because I'm like that them eyes look familiar when I saw that. And then at the end when Linda Carter showed up, I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. She. I think. Hopefully they use her again in the future.
They got to.
Yeah, they do.
They got to.
But yeah, the visual effects, some of it was, when she swooped in and saved those kids, like on that highway or whatever, it looked like it looked like mannequin arms or something when they were rolling. It just didn't. It did. It looked like mannequin arms. So like that part, and I know Patty Jenkins like wanted to use a lot of practical effects in this movie and not that much CGI. And you could tell in some of the scenes, like when she was running at the end after she said goodbye to Steve or whatever, she was running, like that was just her like on wires, and so like it kind of didn't look like she was, you know what I mean? Like you could tell she was on wires, you know what I mean? Just because they could have either had her really running and just sped it up, or went CG with it or whatever. But and the mall scene was kind of, I didn't like that as much. I liked watching her move around. I like watching Wonder Woman do like Wonder Woman shit, like moving around and stuff. But like some of the stuff was just some of the stuff was kind of silly.
It was.
But I mean, overall, I liked it overall. But as like I said, the CGI stuff and but the performances, oh man, Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, as Dr. Minerva was fire.
She was good. She was good.
I was real surprised.
Yeah, because it was like that TV, the Flash TV show got better CGI.
Yeah,
so somebody running, and I kind of like, I'm gonna excuse that.
What is up with their TV shows not being up to tier for the DC movies?
I don't know, but the TV show is. I mean, it's been a minute since I watched, but they CGI on point, and I'm like, y'all can borrow the Flash people on this CGI stuff.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe they can borrow them.
Yeah,
they all work for the same company.
Yeah, because the Flash fight at night, but I can actually see it.
Right. That's true. The lighting is definitely better. But Anthony, I did say this though with the mall scene. I said it felt like Wonder Woman on ice rather than her running.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. No, it was. I don't know. It was. I don't want to say cheesy, man, but it was. It just. Right. I don't know. It's a little silly. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I like the way the movie started though. The games, like the Olympic, whatever they want to call that, and theme was
that was on point. I like that. Yeah,
that was on point. But overall I liked it. But there are some things in there, and I've noticed a lot since I've watched it because I watched it at the movies, then I come home and watched it again later on that night, and then I watched it the very next day. So. How
did you feel at the movie?
Yeah, how did it feel at the movie?
There was hardly nobody there.
No, I mean the actually seeing it on the big screen.
Oh yeah, it looks good. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like but there are those. That's where you really notice the visual. Oh man, dude, that one really got me when she saved those kids and they went to rolling. I was like, she's like. It looks like she's holding two dolls. Like it just looks. It looks so bad. Like I don't know how many times y'all have watched it, but if you get to watch it again, like really look at that one. I was like, oh, but
okay.
Just
what about the cheetah
scene? No, I thought the fight.
Yeah,
cheetah.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I just wished it was longer, but I liked it. I liked the way they made her look. I like her makeup and all of that stuff. Even in most, when she's jumping around, that's not practical. That's like CGI, and it looked good to me. So I liked her look. I hope she gets to come back at some point in time. I think it's Maxwell. You never saw her renounce her wish, which was
she didn't.
She never renounced her wish.
Yeah. So she didn't, and so like her wish was to be like Diana, to be fast, strong, or whatever. The apex predator thing, I think that she didn't renounce that one either. But I think that went with that's why she changed back. I think because that went with Maxwell's renouncing his wish. That scene at the end was kind of odd. His son found him that quick. It was he was in the woods. It was kind of crazy. But once they got together, that was one of the best scenes in the movie too. Obviously, to me, with him and his son talking and like that moment right there at the end, I like that a lot. But yeah, the cheetah fight was fire. I thought it was good. Just if they could have gave me some more of that, because as comic book fans, like if we're used to like a fight lasting just fucking 2 or 3 issues of what I'm saying, like lasting a long time. So like trying to translate that to screen, obviously for a movie that's already 2.5 hours, they weren't going to make it that much longer. But I still liked it. I was satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Another thing though too is I liked when Barbara first gets introduced. Remember when they have that party over at Maxwell's house, and then they had like this jungle type music on there? I thought that was perfect. I thought that was a perfect way of actually introducing her.
There was a lot of cheetah nods in the movie. There was a rug somewhere in the movie. I can't remember where it was. Was like it was cheetah. Yeah. So there was a lot of nods to that. So
and then I think she had on cheetah boots. She had on
Diana had on some cheetah high heels.
She was like, I like those shoes.
Yeah. It was a lot of cheetah shout outs in there.
Well, now that I'm thinking about the mall, because I've been watching Wonder Woman, the TV series, Anthony, on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So it feels more like they were trying to.
I know. I know. I'm like, whoa, where did he go?
All right. It's our show. Oh, y'all still on? Oh, okay. So anyway, like I was saying, when in the TV series, they were doing the same thing. Like if you see the first episode of the Wonder Woman TV show, they're doing the Olympic Games too.
Yeah.
And then it's something like the cheesiness of the mall is kind of like that in the TV series as well. It's like you have all this false punching and all this cheesy moving around. I feel like they were trying to do a nod to the TV series too. Linda was in it,
but they had to be cheesy because that was the budget they had.
Yeah, that's yeah. That show came out. Yeah,
and we're bad.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, if they they had
what you can see
those TV shows. Yeah, they weren't giving them a bunch of money. Not like they are now. Not like the shows, the DC shows that are like on HBO Max, like Titans or whatever. Those shows weren't getting that kind of money back in the day. So.
No, they really were getting horrible, crappy money. So it's amazing you saw anything, which is probably why I overlook bad CGI. That's what I grew up on. Is that? Yeah. So it's like, oh, that CGI look rough. Okay.
Yeah. No. All
right.
Well, honestly, to me, the CGI didn't look rough in the movie. It's when they did the practical stuff. That's where it looked. It kind of looked funny, man. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it because like I grew up on movies that use a lot of practical effects, like Star Wars and stuff. But like nowadays, like CG, it. I think it can help more than it hurts as long as it's done, tastefully and great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they could have used some more in this one for sure.
Yeah, they really did need some more, and I think we talked about it. I just did not like Cheetah's makeup at the end.
Oh, you didn't like it? I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good.
No, I didn't like that.
They're trying to do like the comics, because in the comics, I know her hair is like kind of part of Cheetah.
Yeah.
Or you wanted her to be like Catwoman, where she had like
and add another 30 minutes to explain how Steve can go. Yeah, we don't.
Dallas 1, 2, 3. I'm like, how in the world did this almost 100-year-old man know how to fly? Yeah, I was just like, are you kidding me?
I didn't even know what they were.
He went from a propeller plane to a $1 million jet, and he understand how to fly it.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, I mean, the technology. I see what you. Once you know how to fly, I think no matter what you're flying, it's the same. No matter I guess once you learn how to fly something, you pretty much can fly anything. But like the technology, that's a little bit different. He was just like, oh, fuel and yeah, it's kind of weird. But I like that scene as well. They gave a little nod to the invisible jet, and you saw, that scene with the fireworks and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
The thing about that scene that got me, I'm like, yo, how did you learn how to make stuff invisible? Because it's kind of weird. She was like, I've done this one time before, and it was just crazy. So hope maybe that'll get explained somewhere down the line where they tell you why she was able to fly, straight just make that jet invisible. But overall, that's
you should have seen the original Invisible Jet.
Oh Lord,
that's pretty much just a toy plane and a Barbie doll.
Right, exactly.
No, that was awesome sauce. I was like, that's right. That's what they could afford, and that's what she flew.
I'm out.
Okay, so let's talk about sequel talk. About what we would actually speculate from the sequel and stuff like that on what we would actually like to see. So I'll let you go on ahead first, Tomeka.
I want to see something where she meets up with Superman. And I want it to be Henry Cavill, but I don't know. They kind of aging him. He's a Witcher now, so I don't know. But I want Gal Gadot I want Superman to come in to Wonder Woman 3.
Oh, so it'd be like the love story between them?
not even necessarily a love story. I just want to see them together, working together, or something.
Well, I know
Just fighting crime.
in the comments they put them together like lovers.
Yeah, in the New 52, they did. They put
Oh,
them in a relationship.
So they may, if you do that, some fans may say, "Well, what about in the New
Lois?
52? Why they can't be lovers?"
Yeah.
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 But you know, on Facebook it says that they're super friends.
Oh, okay. What that is with this? Okay. I might be that
They're super friends.
I know. Really.
But yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of what I want to see. And I don't want to see her sister.
Whose sister?
Wonder Woman's sister.
Why they would bring her back?
That's what I'm saying. Don't ever bring her back.
In a TV series,
oh, God.
they brought her back.
Did you notice the guy?
Oh yeah, right.
He did a little bit. He did a little bit.
Look like a Superman.
Mm-hmm. He did.
I want to see Clark.
No,
he wasn't Clark. No, he wasn't Clark. No, but he did it. He just, yeah.
I want to see Cheetah back, but like I said, I want a longer fight sequence between the two of them.
Yeah,
because she's the arch enemy to Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
she is. She's the most, especially. She's also the most popular like adversary for Diana. Like that's her. She has a couple of other ones that are up there, but as far as popularity goes, Cheetah is like that's her enemy. That's her adversary. That's her nemesis. So yeah.
It's like Lex Luthor and Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or the Joker and Batman. That's her
joke. That's her joke.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
What would you like to see?
Yeah.
I'd like to see them go back to Themyscira and have some of her what is it? Let's see, Cersei, or no, it's not Cersei. It's I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank right now. But I'd like to see Donna Troy. I'd like to see them go back to Amazons and do something Amazon centric, Themyscira centric, where it's just like she's not in the world of man, but it's back there with her and her enemies that I can't remember the name, man. It's killing me right now. the sorcerer lady. I can't remember, but
I know who you're talking about. I just can't place her name either.
Yeah. I can't find it. But yeah, so I'd like to see that. But that's what I want them to take us back to Themyscira, since Patty and Gal are both back to doing it, and they fast tracked it because it was so successful this past weekend with however much money it made in theaters and the views and the watches on HBO Max. So like, yeah, I like to see them go back to Themyscira. I'd like to see more of that world, and I don't know when it's going to take place. If it's going to be, I don't know, but and also I don't want them to go back in time again. I mean, I understood Wonder Woman, the first one was like in the 1920s or 1900s or whatever.
It needs to be now.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her go back, and then we see what happens when she does, and things that come with being on Themyscira.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually saw that episode, by the way, where it did. Wow, 85 million.
That's still pretty good. Yeah, that's good.
That's
also said
that's great.
Wants to see Batman show up. Affleck. Yep, I want to see. I want to see Batman show up in a Wonder Woman movie.
Affleck. Now he just happened to me. Man.
Hey, I love Ben. Ben is great.
I'm like, man, yes.
I want to see Wonder Woman be able to fly a fighter jet, hoping in it just go with the wind or whatever Steve tells her, then it magically works.
Yeah,
see. Roxy said Super Friends, right.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I saw that episode. I just saw that episode where Wonder Woman went back to Themyscira.
Oh yeah.
And then the Nazis invaded because they found out where the island was.
Oh,
So if they want to kind of do that, minus the Nazis. Then they can kind of do that where somebody finds out where the island.
Well, you know, when I saw Linda Carter at the end, that made me think they are going to go back to Themyscira because unfinished business. Now that she is alive, there's some unfinished business with her and the rest of the Amazons. So that's what I assumed. I assumed that they're going to go back. When I saw Linda Carter,
she could be like the bitter adversary we didn't realize because she had to stay behind.
Yeah, but not bitter towards Wonder Woman, bitter towards maybe her mama.
Yeah, all the animals.
Yeah,
like leaving her behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, we just wrote.
To be honest with you, for me, I would like to actually see Batfleck come in and everything and team up with Wonder Woman. Maybe he's after some type of artifact or something like that Diana knows about, and Diana has to do some research. I want to see some detective work between the both of them to where they actually have to do some detective work together, and then of course they have to go in and try and fight crime together. That's what I would like to actually see. And of course, to explain some of the stuff that they didn't get around to actually explaining in this one, and stuff like that. And that way, we're like, okay, all those plot holes are now covered up. We can actually move on and do something with Wonder Woman 3. Also, 2, I want it to be more in the 2020 realm. I don't want it to be any more of this past either. So I'm in agreement with both of y'all on that part. But yeah, I'm definitely hoping that they actually keep it in that 2020 realm or 2022 realm or whatever year this movie actually comes out. But yeah, I'm totally down for that.
Can I see Chris Pine again? Can we resurrect him one more time?
Maybe he gets the right body.
We're gonna raise him like Lazarus one more time.
Nah, he gone.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna bring him back again. I didn't have a problem with how they brought him back this time either.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Y'all didn't like it. Y'all didn't like it.
You see, I didn't have a problem with it either, man.
We didn't make sense. Did you get how they brought him back? What was the connection with that guy?
I don't know why that guy got picked.
Yeah.
At first when he showed up though, I was kind of like, yo, what is going on? But then when the camera angle was going around, and then it showed Steve, I was like, okay, I see where they're going with this. And Chris Pine was fire.
I love Chris Pine. Yeah. He's so underrated.
Yeah, all the performances in this movie were. I don't think I saw a bad one where
the armor survived all of men, and then
that just shows. That just shows how strong Cheetah was, man.
Yeah,
like, when she wished to have Diana's whatever, that's why she, because Diana probably could. When it showed the flashback where she was like had all the she had the armor in the circle. Those dudes like they come straight out of 300. Like, yeah, it looked like some dude.
I was like, oh my Lord. Yeah.
Well, she did say she wanted to be an apex predator, so maybe she had Diana plus extra power.
Yeah, yep.
The way she can break through the armor.
But if they bring Gal Gadot and Linda Carter, they both gonna whoop Cheetah's ass. I mean, that's gonna be that fight right there.
But what I want to see is, what would be cool is to see Linda Carter versus Gal Gadot. Maybe Linda plays the villain. Yeah, I would like to actually see that dynamic where the two of them.
Because they left her.
Let's see here. Larry said this. He says, I don't want to do this, but I have to subscribe to the Movie Lovers Unite podcast. Thank you, man. I do appreciate that.
Yes, man. Get on
do it. What? It's an awesome podcast. Subscribe now.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe
I've been on YouTube a lot. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell.
Yeah.
And just hit that subscribe button down there. Smash that shit.
Yeah, all the notifications. I've been on YouTube a lot. I'm learning.
And we also have a Patreon too, so subscribe to that.
Yeah, we have a Patreon page.
Yeah, subscribe to that.
Where John is going to give exclusive content.
Exclusive.
Trying to get John to the beach so he can do a Patreon cam from the beach.
Nice.
So let's get into our rankings out of 5. So what do you rank? So let's go with Tomeka and Ladasiah. What's your ranking out of 5?
Of what?
Wonder
For Wonder Woman.
What just happened? Where am I?
I know. Like,
Tamika's just happy to be here.
been talking about for 2 hours. Wonder Woman.
Yeah, four out of
4
five.
out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of
we
5.
do 4 out of 5.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go 3.5 out of 5.
Whoa.
3.5 out of yeah.
Wow.
So that the mannequin arms, man, I can't get past.
I know. I didn't even see the mannequin arm done now.
Hey, next time you watch it, pay attention to that roll after she
Yeah.
goes like,
Oh man.
Thanks, Patty.
Yeah, that man.
Right. Let's see here. I remember whenever I gave the ranking for Wonder Woman, the very first Wonder Woman, I gave it like a 4.9 out of 5.
Oh
With
yeah,
this
I
one,
would give you that. Yeah.
because it was fire. I mean, it was everything worked. So with this one, I have to say this is Patty Jenkins' bad day at the office, so to speak, with the plot holes and stuff like that. Other than that, I'm just gonna have to say I'm gonna have to go with at least a 3.5 out of 5 for this one.
You're going 3.5 too,
yeah. Yeah, because it was plot holes that you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Man is still on that man.
Bothers us.
I know that really irks me. Who is this dude Steve got into?
It bothers us.
Yeah. I am glad though when he showed up at the end. I think I would have been a little bit upset if she would have been like, "You want to get lunch or whatever." I'm glad she just talked to him and then he just went on about his business.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad she.
I thought they were gonna do that. They were gonna be like, "Yo, you want to get something?" Like, nah, you don't. Just
yeah. I was the same way. I was like, if she act like he's Steve, I'm gonna throw something at this tablet. Like, come on now.
It's my tablet. That's what it calls me.
It wasn't my tablet. It was your
my
tablet.
Yeah. Ain't throwing at my tablet. Zap.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the show. Anthony, where can everybody reach you at?
Yeah, you can find me on all forms of social media at 2279ACS. On YouTube, search for the ACS Universe and you'll find me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Okay, and everybody, you guys can follow me on Facebook at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite. We also have a movie webpage now called www.movieloversunite.com for all your entertainment needs and wants and everything. If you want to see some movie reviews, some movie news, go on ahead and check that out. We also have a Pinterest at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite. We also have a Patreon, like Tomeka said as well. Another thing too, guys, we also have a GoFundMe page in the link below. Go on ahead, smash that shit. Go on ahead, donate some money to us and everything just to keep the lights on here, keep everything flowing, keep everything fresh. And then also too, we also are going to be doing our gangster movies and stuff like that for the Patreon. Our very first Patreon is actually going to be Caesar from the 1938 classic film. Then normally I do Mafia Talk Mondays where I actually have an after show for The Sopranos. I had a little cancellation with one of my friends who were actually doing part 2 of season 4, and it's bigger than Jenny Sack's ass. That's getting removed from her ass cheek. So we actually had to split that into 2 parts. So we're going to be doing that on next Monday from Mafia Talk Monday. Tomorrow I have my friend Jason, who I'm actually interviewing because he's been through some rough times with the coronavirus. He's just seeing things in a whole different life. So I figured this actually goes hand in hand whenever he saw the movie Soul. So I figured this would be a good chance to just a little bit. And then we're also doing a what if Star Wars kind of themed show for tomorrow night. I'm going to have Bennett back again. I'm going to have Quentin Bennett back again, independent comic book writer, and we're going to have him back. And then after that, who knows what else I have in store for everybody. So as always, guys, stay safe and everything. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on at short notice and everything. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Tomeka. Thank you, Ladasiah. I appreciate y'all very much. And always until next time, guys, I hope you guys have a nice, happy new year if I don't see you and everything. And bye-bye.
Bye.